Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
Brown, it rolls to Sevier. Sevier in trouble in front. Bonino knocked it away. Smith's shot is blocked away. Then Smith is robbed! Roberto Luongo with a huge glove save to keep it scoreless.
Greg Smith is looking back and he says, that's number 3. That is a third opportunity that Roberto Luongo has flat out taken away from me.
It is time for a summer edition of the Debate Hockey Podcast, episode 68, recorded on June 26, 2019. I am the host of the show, Brad Burud, joined alongside my co-host, Blake Friars. Blake, it is, it's a day of, I guess, your hero's gone.
Yeah, man. It's a tough day, you know. Luongo retired today, and I got to meet him when I was a little kid in Minnesota on the steps, and he's one of the main reasons why I became a goaltender.
Well, he hangs up his skates after a pretty good career, and you know, we talked about this on an earlier podcast, and you told me he won't retire, though. You said they'd put him on long-term IR, and you were dead set that that's the way it was going to be. And Blake, can I say it again? You were wrong.
Yeah, I thought. Well, he helped out Florida big time because Florida saves a little under $5 million on their cap, and they only have a $1 million cap recapture. So, I mean, I think Luongo looked at not playing in that Heritage Classic game, and he says, you know what? You can pay me $3 million a year. I'm going to retire.
I don't blame him. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't think he owes either one of the teams anything. And
no, I mean, it comes down to, like, he's 39 years old, and your body can only take so much, especially being a goaltender. And from what I've been reading about him, it took him, like, 2 hours of stretching just to be able to play one game. It's just like it took a lot out of him to prepare. And I mean, your body just shuts down at some point, right?
Yeah, that's right. Good career though, but we are off season now. Award show is done, draft's done, everything's done. We are awaiting the big July 1st signing period. But I don't know. I feel a little bit different about this off season. I think after July 3rd, things will drastically slow down. But man,
I don't know. I have a feeling that the big fish aren't going to sign on July 1st.
I think the UFAs will. I don't think any of the RFAs will. I think RFAs are going to go through into the summer deep, and I think it's going to be a busy summer of news throughout the summer instead of what we usually have where everybody gets things wrapped up by the end of the 4th and we don't hear any hockey news until September 1. But I think it'll be a little bit different this year, Blake. And I'm afraid with some of these RFAs, I'm afraid some of them could drag on into the season.
There's a lot of stressed out managers right now.
Well, there just isn't any money left. I
mean, the cap is $2 million under from what it was projected to be. It was projected to be at 83.5, and the commissioner, Gary Bettman, said it's coming in at 81.5. So that changes a lot of teams' strategies, and it's going to be different.
And we'll dive deeper into that later on here in the show. But it is going to be an interesting summer, and I don't know. It's going to be actually probably one of the more entertaining hockey news summers that we've ever had. Surgery is done for you. Your foot is fixed, but now you have plenty of time to just sit on the couch and watch hockey news, huh?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. I'm just stuck in limbo right now. Can't put any weight on my foot for 6 weeks. It's almost been 2 weeks. I go to Regina, get my staples taken out on the 4th of July, and then we'll see what the doctor says after that.
Well, hopefully everything goes good with that, and you're back to normal by August, so you can get back, and September our shows will be live. Actually, our August show will probably be live together, so only one, this show and the next show will be remote. Off season though, this summer is going to be a busy one. We got a lot of things going on with, like we talked about, with the RFAs and stuff, and with the website Inside Edge. We got a whole new website being built here in the next 4 weeks, and a new podcast called Flames Unfiltered starting in October. And
man, I was saying it's only a matter of time till you get a podcast. Then you can be even more biased,
I'm not as biased as you, but and then also we're going to be working on this podcast. This really important to us as we're 68 episodes in, and I honestly have a blast doing this podcast. But we'll be tweaking a few things for next year and just making it bigger and better as we go. We got some new equipment on the way, so hopefully everything will just improve with this podcast as well as everything else going on with the website. And I don't know, I used to be able to take some time in the summers to relax a little bit, but I got more work to do this summer than I do during the regular season.
Hey, one more thing with this new Flames podcast. I better hear some epic rants from you this year.
Well, you got a couple good
ones. Especially with Johnny Gaudreau, because I know how much you hate him.
I can't say I'm still very aggravated. I'm still very aggravated by his playoff performance, and it's going to take a long time of me watching him. And now I hear rumors where he's like, well, I'm just going to play out my contract and I want to go back home. And I'm like, don't worry. We won't play your contract out. We'll ship your ass out now. I'm good with it. But as for the awards, draft signing, trades, we're going to talk about it all in the show today. We got a bunch of NHL news. We got tons of just things going on, talk of who's signing where and different things. So pretty action-packed show. We'll get into it with the awards, head into the draft, talk signings and trades, and then we'll dive into some odds and ends around the hockey world. A big thanks goes out to our sponsor, coolhockey.com. Type in Inside 20 at the checkout. Save yourself 20% off. Other important news, we're actually currently looking for a show sponsor for Season 3 of the Debate Hockey Podcast. The show can't go as good as it goes and can't improve like we want it to next year without a good, strong show sponsor. Contact myself, Brad Burud, for any details or questions you have if you're interested in sponsoring the show. And you can also email me at bradburud@insideedgehockeynews.com. Blake, are you ready to get this thing on the road?
Absolutely. I've been waiting for a while to do this podcast.
Coolhockey.com. Jerseys online since '99.
All right, Blake, let's talk NHL Awards. And awards is always kind of one of my more fun topics to talk about. And I usually go to the NHL Awards show, and this year I was unable to go. But hopefully next year both of us will get to go down to that NHL Awards show and take part in that and get some player interviews and add that to the show next year. But as for this year, let's kind of just roll through the awards, talk a little bit about the winner and our thoughts on it. Some of them will cruise through, but some will spend a little bit more time talking about it. Let's start right away with the Masterton Trophy. And this goes to the player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. And this year's winner was Robin Lehner of the New York Islanders. And your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great pick and well-deserved.
Pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah, the guy that came out talked about his alcoholism and his depression and anxiety, and for him to have all that distraction going on in his inner self, and he had to fight some demons, and he had a great season too. So hats off to him and his success this year.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Where's he going to sign?
I don't know. I think the Islanders are waiting to see what happens with Bobrovsky, because I think they're in play on that.
Well, and they're in on Panarin too.
And if they don't get Bobrovsky, then they'll.
Okay, but if you're Robin Lehner and that's kind of a slap in the face to him.
Yeah, but wait a second. You're the guy that says that players don't owe the teams anything.
Well,
the teams don't owe the players anything either.
Yeah, like it's a touchy subject.
It's a touchy both ways, though, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Let's cruise on over into the Calder Trophy, and I figured we better get this one out of the way so I could.
Was there any doubt? I don't
even know if I want to even deal with
doubt?
This. Elias
there wasn't any doubt.
There wasn't any doubt. Canucks wins it. 1,650 votes to 1,072.
What were the votes?
1,650 for Pettersson, 1,072 for Binnington, 661 for Dahlin, and Heiskanen at 520. And I would add Heiskanen. Right up there with Binnington myself, but
yeah. No, but I mean, I told you he was a lock for the Calder back in November, and
my thoughts on this is well deserved. He's a dynamic and exciting player. I'm very excited to see how that translates into year 2, 3, and 4.
Yep, absolutely.
Quickly, let's talk about the Selke Award. Ryan O'Reilly wins that one. Mark Stone second. Patrice Bergeron third. This goes to the top 4 who excels the best defensive aspects of the game. I don't know. You got a lot of thoughts on this? Because I
love Ryan O'Reilly. I pump him up on this podcast a lot. I thought he was going to win the Selke, and he did, right? I mean, he showed exactly why he won the Selke in the playoffs, right? I mean, when St. Louis was looked down and out in the Cup final, he played a 200-foot game. He scored what, 4 straight games in the finals. He's a very good defensive forward, and
I'm just glad that Bergeron didn't get it. I'm sick of him.
Yeah, he wins every time. Like it was either Datsuk or Bergeron
every year. I've been to the
10
awards
years
show.
ago.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Quickly rolling through we want to get through the awards quick. We'll get through the draft quick because there's a lot of other things to talk about. And I don't want this to go 16 hours or people bored out of their minds, right? General Manager of the Year award, Don Sweeney, the Boston Bruins. Doug Armstrong of St. Louis second at 63 votes. Don Waddell at Carolina in third.
I thought, what's your thoughts on that? Don't you think John Waddell should have won it? Don
Waddell, you mean?
That's what I said, yeah. So, like, for what he did?
What did he do?
Carolina was not even supposed to make the playoffs. Boston is loaded. Like, it's the same thing with the Vezina. Tampa's loaded.
But you can't always give the award to the shitty team that got better all the time. Like, that's what they do to the coach. That's what they do to the coaches. The coaches award all the time too, and then all of a sudden that coach gets fired the next year.
Yeah, Bob Hartley.
All of them. What are you talking about? There's only 2 coaches that have won that award that are still with their team. 2. That's Barry Trotz, and he hasn't even coached a game this year with his team. That's crazy to me. Let's move on to, we're not going to talk about, we'll skip that one. Let's talk about the Hart. And a lot of people look at this as the most important award. And I guess I personally do too. And it's to the player that's most valuable to his team. And this one's voted on by the Professional Hockey Writers Association. This year's finalists were McDavid, Crosby, and Kucherov wins by a landslide. Could you go with anybody else on this one?
The thing is, though, most valuable to the player.
No, most valuable to the team.
Most valuable player to the team, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. You take Kucherov off of Tampa Bay, are they a playoff team?
Yep. If
you take McDavid off of Edmonton, are they a playoff team?
They weren't a playoff team with him.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
They suck.
So how can you be the most valuable player to your team if the team still makes the playoffs without you?
Oh, come on, Blake. The guy put up a boatload of points this year. Like, you can't.
That's what the Art Ross. That's what the Art Ross is for.
He dominated the most points. The league. Who do you give this award to then? McDavid
is the most valuable player.
No, he's not.
To the team.
They didn't make the playoffs even, Blake. You can't give that. If he was so valuable, then they should have made the damn playoffs.
Okay, what do you want him to score? 200 points?
Well, then they better figure it out, man.
That's not McDavid. McDavid did all he could. But he's the most. Okay, well then, valuable to his team.
You want to know who the award should have been then this year? By a landslide, Jordan Binnington. by a landslide. Nobody even should have been close. Because without Jordan Binnington, the Blues don't make the playoffs.
He only started.
You have no. Wait. From the time he got into the league, if he isn't playing, they don't make the playoffs. Now, isn't that the definition of exactly what you said? The most important player to his team.
Absolutely, but not over a 29-game span.
The team doesn't make it without him. Doesn't matter if it's 29 games or 80 games.
But listen, okay, if you asked any hockey fan who the best player in the league is, McDavid.
Wait. This award is not for the best player of the league.
The most valuable, though.
To his team.
And
it's not the best player.
It's McDavid.
No, it's not.
Because the Oilers are garbage without him.
The Oilers are garbage with him.
But they're even.
Everybody who listens to this podcast is going to agree with me on this, Blake.
Yes, but they're not okay.
They are awful.
They're not. They're an AHL team without him.
They're an AHL team now.
We'll see.
Jack Adams Award winner. We just talked about this briefly. Barry Trotz runs away with. I shouldn't say runs away with that. What am I talking about? Wins it over John Cooper. Votes were 430 to 350. I like what Barry Trotz did this year. I think that's a well-deserved award.
It makes no sense.
But John Cooper deserved it in my mind. I would have given it to John Cooper. How do you? That guy. Their regular season record was outright. I mean, no one will have that regular season record for 10 years.
How many people could coach that team, though?
No, but we've argued about this forever.
Okay, but everybody says that John Cooper's so special.
Okay,
why didn't he win the Stanley Cup then? If he's such a good coach.
Wait. First of all, if you understood how the awards go, the votes are done before.
Oh, absolutely.
Start. And
absolutely.
Second of all, Blake, here's another thing. You just want to give it to the shitty team that is better the next year.
Nope. I want to give it to Berube because he took his team from dead last in January to the playoffs.
So that solidifies my Binnington argument.
What are you talking about?
Well, your explanation to that's the same as me for Binnington.
What, oh my God.
Right?
I guess that Trotz, they were favored to be dead last and they were second in their division. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if these are done with the playoffs included,
well, all the awards go to the Stanley Cup winning team, right?
Well, not necessarily.
Well, that's what would happen. Calder would have went to Binnington, probably.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coach of the year would have went to Berube. General manager of the year. I mean, they all would have went. Holy shit! We could have had it in St. Louis. That's how it would be every year, Blake. We have the shortest term memory of people. Humans are crazy. We don't remember what happened 3 weeks ago. We only remember what happened yesterday.
But I just don't understand how a guy can take his team from dead last to the playoffs and he doesn't win Coach of the Year. Doesn't make sense.
Well, let's have your argument. He wasn't there all year.
If he doesn't get hired, they probably don't make the playoffs. The same thing with Binnington.
Same with Binnington.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk Norris Trophy. Mark Giordano wins it, 1,690 votes. The next closest competitor was Brent Burns with 720. Now, let's go over first place votes here. Mark Giordano got 165 first place votes.
Yeah.
Burns got 2, Hedman got 1, and John Carlson got 3. That's it. That's domination.
John Carlson. Okay, yeah. No, I mean, it's well-deserved, man. What a career this guy's had. Undrafted. Finally started to pan out. Not pan out. He's been good.
He's been good. He just had
an
extremely strong
year. Offensively, he burst out, right? And it's great to see. I love great stories like that. Undrafted players with a chip on their shoulder and got a lot to prove.
We'll talk about one more award, and that's probably the only other one that has any importance, and that's the Vezina Trophy. And this year, Andrei Vasilevsky wins that award. Gets 28 of the 31 votes, and I don't know. I completely agree with this.
I don't know.
To me,
man.
he's the top goalie in the league, and when his contract's due at the end of next year, they're going to look at what Bobrovsky gets, put a little bit of numbers behind it, and that's what Tampa Bay is going to be on the hook for, because I think this guy's the number one goalie in the National Hockey League.
hear me out on this though. I was a little pissed because
who are you going to give the award to?
I personally would have gave it to Ben Bishop. I feel like he had a better season than Vasilevsky, and he's on a worse team. Look at Tampa Bay's team. They're loaded on the back end, loaded up front.
Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
Well, no, but this guy, Bishop was 27-15-2 with goals against under 2. He had a better save percentage by 10 points, and he had more shutouts in 10 less games. He had more shutouts in 10 less games. If he plays 56 like Vasilevsky, they didn't give it to him because he played 10 less games, but he had better numbers. So is it really the best goalie?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Let me ask you this question. If you were starting a National Hockey League team and you could pick any player.
Any player. Any goalie?
Any goalie. Who would you pick?
I'm taking Connor Hellebuck. Sorry.
I remember 2 years ago when we first started this podcast, you just were like, I'm just not a believer on Connor Hellebuck.
Yeah, guys can prove you wrong.
I kept telling you, watch him. Just watch him.
I don't trust Russian goalies.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic, and that is wait for a second. One last question on the award show.
Oh, did you see the Carey Price?
Oh, geez, yeah, I did. What do you think? Entertainment-wise, was it good, bad, or not?
Oh yeah, he did a great job.
No,
hosting.
I'm not talking about Carey Price. I'm talking about.
I'm talking about the host.
I'm not talking even about the host. I'm just saying, as a whole, was the award show good or bad, or what do you think?
Yeah, I thought the awards were great. Yeah. I thought it was good.
I did too.
I always enjoy watching
the awards. A lot of people rip on the awards and say
I
thought and cheesy and whatever, but
yeah, no, I thought it was. Except that Babcock and reporter was kind of iffy. I don't know about
that. All right, let's talk draft. And I know the draft is one of your favorite things, and I'm not going to say it's not my favorite thing, but I don't know. I mean, I get sick of watching Edmonton pick high picks, and it's the same teams every year picking players, and I don't know, making messes of it. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about that I thought was interesting. I'm gonna quiz you on one thing, and I don't expect you to know this, but it's just kind of interesting facts. What position was drafted the most this year in the draft?
Probably center defense.
Defense was first, centers were second.
Mm-hmm.
What country was drafted the most this year?
Either Canada or the United States, no?
Well, boy, that you really went on a limb there, Blake.
Oh, is it a European country?
Hell no. Look at the population. No, Blake. It's been Canada every year for the whole history of hockey.
Yeah.
And it is Canada again this year, but here's my point.
Americans are catching them.
Usually it's like 106 Canadians and 32 Americans.
No, it's
you know what it is? You know what it was this year?
50-50?
63 Canadians picked, 59 Americans picked, 26 Russian and Swedes, and 22 Finland, which is bonkers because Finland's the smallest.
Finland's booming, man. They're winning a lot of World Juniors. They're winning a lot of World Championships. But I'm telling you, man, the U.S. development program.
Away. The U.S. is 4 away.
The U.S. development program has really closed the gap, right? And I think they had 15 from the U.S. development program and they've taken in the first round. Over half. Is that about right?
The first round?
I think they had
almost half of the first round, almost.
Yeah, was from the U.S. development program. So I mean,
let's talk about the picks here. Let's skip on over to that here, and any picks that surprise. Let's talk first round. Obviously, I don't know. Do you think the first pick was there any surprise at all with Hughes? Because there wasn't for me.
No. I mean, I thought he was a slam dunk to go first.
I'm gonna count while you're talking. I'm gonna count the U.S. guys in the first round.
And I thought it was gonna be Hughes 1, Kakko 2, and I thought Alex Turcotte would have gone to
11 of the first 31 were Americans.
11 okay, so
which is pretty high because there was a lot of other countries represented in round 1.
Yeah, they ended up taking Kirby Doc from Saskatoon Blades.
Did that surprise you? Because I thought Bowen Byram was going to go.
The thing is, I thought Bowen Byram or Turcotte were going to go number 3, but they just drafted Boquist last year, so they kind of filled that need. And man, Colorado is laughing right now. Their decor: Cale Makar, Bowen Byram, Timmins. Man, Samuel Girard, Tyson Barrie.
Yeah, Barrie, I still think is going to be gone.
He's going to be gone, but for next year and the years coming, they're loaded. LA gets a good pick with Turcotte. The one that surprised me was Mortiz Sider at 6. In all the draft, a
lot of teams I've been hearing. A lot of teams had him high though.
But I don't know. Like I looked at all the rankings and he was like 15th ranked, right? So I mean, Stevie Y must have seen something in him. I loved Vancouver's pick. Vasily. I'm gonna butcher this name, but Paul Colson. He was projected to go 3 all season long. Bobby Kenzie had him 3 in his rankings. And a 2-year contract in the KHL scared a lot of teams off. And Vancouver comes and picks him up. But like Jim Benning said, any player that you take in this first round is likely 2 years away. So why not take this kid, let him go in the KHL for 2 years. He comes back at age 19 and he's ready to go.
Let me ask you, I don't disagree with that either. I don't, because most of these guys are 2 years away. They are.
Exactly.
But let me ask you a question, though. Is Vancouver rebuilding or not rebuilding?
Well, they're near the end. I mean,
if they're rebuilding, then this is a good pick. But if they think they're done, and by the way they're acting, they think they're done, what are they doing?
What do you mean by the way they're acting? What do you mean by the way they're acting?
Okay, well, we'll get to that here in a little while. I'm gonna make you stew over that.
All right.
There's a trailer. We're gonna talk a little bit about this. What is Vancouver doing? Any other picks in the first round surprise you? You know, another pick I really liked is Spencer Knight going to Florida. Florida does not have goaltenders in their system, and I know taking a first round goaltender is a flyer, but
this guy's good.
This guy's a good goalie, and I think that was a real smart pick.
The thing is, like when the Coyotes moved up from 14 to 11. I was like, oh, like they might grab Spencer Knight here. That would be a good time to pick Spencer Knight.
I kind of thought that too.
And when they picked Victor Soderstrom, I was like, ooh, like somebody's going to get a good player. And I thought Minnesota might take Spencer Knight. I was like, oh, no, like the Dubnik's still under contract for 3-4 more years. But, man, with Luongo retiring, if Bobrovsky goes there, Spencer Knight's going to have a pretty good mentor to learn under whoever goes there.
Well, I don't think he'll be seeing Florida Panthers jerseys for a couple years at least.
Another interesting pick was Cole Caulfield, man. This guy lit up the United States development program. Falls to 15 because he's 5'7". It just doesn't make sense, man. You don't need to be big in this game anymore. It's all about speed and skill. If you're good enough to play and you're good enough to score goals, you're going to make it in this league. And I don't think size is going to matter. Look at DeBrincat in Chicago. 41 goals this year. He's 5'7". Size doesn't matter anymore because nobody's delivering that big hit anymore. The NHL's soft.
Doesn't matter in the playoffs, though?
Who knows? Guess we'll find out.
As a Johnny Gaudreau, yeah, it matters in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, if you're too scared to go in the corners, that's a problem.
That's the problem, isn't it? One interesting pick, and I don't know if you caught on to this, and I'm only bringing this up because it affects us in our region here because it's an interesting one. But in the second round, 37th pick overall, Ottawa picks up a goaltender, Matt Sogard, who we used to watch play games in the North American Hockey League for the Austin Bruins.
Really?
Absolutely. 6'8" goaltender from Denmark, Mads Søgaard.
I saw him play.
Austin Bruins goaltender.
I didn't even know that.
I know, Blake. That's why I was bringing that to your attention, dude.
I thought Vancouver had two really good picks. Niels Hoglander, he's projected to go in the first round. Got him at 40. And then there was another one. I think it was. Let's see here. Yeah, Arthur.
I can't wait to talk Canucks today.
Arthur Kaliev. He scored 51 goals in the OHL, and he fell to LA in the second round, which is a good pickup for them. Overall, I thought it was a good draft. I thought there would be more trades in the first round.
Because I was kind of bitching about the trades. The first round didn't surprise me, and I heard Brad Treliving say twice this week. He goes, "It's not going to be as busy as everybody thinks because right now everybody's waiting to see how much they're going to have to spend on their RFAs. They can't do anything." He says, "We're all hogtied on we can't do anything because we need to see how much it's going to cost us to take care of our own business. And until we get rid of our own business, we can't do anything else."
Well, and they didn't know what the cap would be either.
So it made sense that it would be a little bit, a little bit jumbled up, and there was a lot of big moves on Saturday. I was complaining on Saturday that there wasn't as many moves as I thought, and I had two people tell me, "Are you stupid? Those are big moves." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." I don't know.
I mean, yeah, are you talking like the Subban trade?
Yeah, and we'll get into that here. We're going to talk trades next.
All right.
Anything else? Any other thoughts on the draft?
No, I thought it was good. I thought Gary Bettman handled himself pretty good. He's getting booed pretty good. Brought out the Sedin twins to get the crowd going a little bit.
If I was Gary Bettman, I'd walk out there with my middle finger up.
He handles it pretty good, though.
He does. I've met him 3 times. He's a nice guy.
I think he likes getting booed.
I don't know, man. All right, let's talk signings now. I'm gonna name off signings, and you tell me good deal or bad deal or who cares.
Sure.
Okay. And I'm going to leave out the real who care ones. All right, first one, Brian Elliott gets 1 year at $2 million. Surprise, not surprise, good, bad.
I'm just worried that, does this signing mean that Carter Hart's ready to start 65 games? Because if you're relying on Brian Elliott to start 40 games, that's concerning.
I think this is good, and here's why. It only costs $2 million. Carter Hart's going to be your starter, and you couldn't find a nicer, more mature guy to learn from than Brian Elliott, who's been through everything. He's went through great times and bad times. I don't think this is bad at all. I really don't.
But does it concern you a little bit that if Carter Hart's not ready to start 65 games, you might be forced to start Brian Elliott at 37 years old for 40 games?
Who else are you going to go get?
I don't know.
You could go out and get Mike Smith. Are you concerned? Because I am. You can go out and get Peter Mrazek. Are you concerned?
I'd rather have Mike Smith or Peter Mrazek than Brian Elliott.
I don't know about that. I'd be.
I
consider Mike Smith and Brian Elliott the same, and Brian Elliott, you'll get him for half the price.
You think Mike Smith's going to sign for $4 million?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think I know where I think he's going to sign too.
He's going to Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's a lock, I think.
And they can have him because there was so many times this year I wanted to punch the TV set because that guy couldn't stop a frickin' beach ball.
Yeah.
I don't know how many text messages I got from people. This guy sucks. Yeah, I'm not blind. I can see that.
He said, yeah, no shit.
God. All right, Mike Riley signs Montreal 2 years, 1.5 a year. Do you care?
Yeah, it's good.
I don't.
Good depth signing.
Okay. William Karlsson signs in Vegas 8 years, 5.9 per season. I don't have a problem with the 5.9. I think that's a deal. The term is asinine.
The AAV is bang on. Yep. And the reason why they got that AAV is because they gave him 8 years.
Yes. But he isn't going to be playing there in 8 years.
The thing is, that's a movable contract. You agree?
Absolutely. But It's only movable if he's playing well, though.
Exactly.
Do you trust that William Karlsson is really, truly as good as he showed us 2 years ago? Because I don't know. And we saw shades of it. He took a step back.
He did. He took a step back.
I think the William Karlsson we saw last year is probably what you're going to get for the next 3 or 4.
Yeah, I could probably agree with that. But the thing is, this puts Vegas $8 million over the cap.
And this is a team that not even 12 months ago
had $20 million in cap.
You kept saying they can do anything they want. They have a ton of cap room. Other teams better be careful. Vancouver. There's a bunch of teams I can name that have a bunch of cap room that better be careful. It doesn't take long to eat it up. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Here's the next signing. Here's the next signing.
Hold on. With Vegas, though, Vegas is, I think, is easily fixed, though, because you can put David Clarkson on a long-term IR, and you can move a guy like Colin Miller, who is a right-hand shot defenseman, who's only making $3.8 million, and a lot of teams would be interested in. And but they got to sign Nikita Gusev, who is a Russian third liner for them last year. And I mean, we'll see. McPhee and his group's gonna have, and McCrimmon is gonna be in tough this summer.
Travis Sanheim is the next one I want to talk about. He signs in Philly for 2 years, $3.25, and I heard some interesting information on this today. And the thought process behind this one is, and the reasoning behind a 2-year for Travis Sanheim, who has extreme potential. This guy is going to be good. He's 23 years old, great defenseman. And he is trending up. But in 2 years, the cap will be bigger and he's going to want a big payday.
Yeah, and hats off to the agent.
That's why he signed 2 years versus 5.
Hats off to the agent, though, right? That's on your agent.
Great move.
And great move. I like that sign for Philly. And the fact that they got him at a cheaper price, but man, that Hayes contract is horrible.
We're gonna get to that. Actually, let's talk about that. Hayes gets 7 years, 7.14. Are they out to lunch or what? Or what am I? Or am I not seeing something that he brings? Because I don't see it.
Hey, man, if you figure that out, text me please, because how is this guy worth $7.2 million?
No idea.
How much is Brock Besser going to get if this guy's worth $7?
Oh, Vancouver's in trouble.
We're not in trouble.
I am not joking. You are in trouble. Trouble.
We'll see. But I don't know.
Speaking of Vancouver trouble, Alex Edler gets 2 years, $6 million per. I like Alex Edler. I do.
I love this signing because originally it was 3 years at $5 million. And I was like, the expansion, that kind of scared me. But 2 years, $6 million. He's the franchise leader in points for defensemen, and when he got hurt last year, that's when the playoffs went bye-bye for the Canucks.
Okay. Ryan Miller gets 1 year at 1.125. I don't know where they came up with that number, but gets 1 year in Anaheim to back up Gibson. That's a good move, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I have really no comment on that one.
No.
Erik Karlsson, here's the one I have a comment on. 8 years, $11.5 million for Erik Karlsson. I was the biggest horn tooter. That's a dumb word. For Erik Karlsson 2 years ago, I thought he was absolutely dominating. Last year, I watched him all year, and I thought he was not very good. Now, everybody said he was hurt all year, and I'm not denying that he probably was hurt all year. But I'll tell you what, that guy did not impress me at all in the playoffs. At times in the playoffs, I thought, hurt or not hurt, I don't care what this guy's name is. You can't play this guy.
No, to me, he's not built for the West. He's not built to go in the corners and get hammered every single time. Because in the East, that doesn't happen very often. The West is a lot more physical than the East.
This contract
is horrible. It's probably one of the worst in the NHL.
Well, no, because we still have Lucic signed, and there's still
it's up there. It's up there. It's up there.
It is up there.
Lucic is only making $6 million. He's making $11.5.
This is gonna hog tie San Jose so bad. They're gonna lose their captain because of this.
They're losing Pavelski. They might even lose Timo Meier because of this.
Yeah. Yeah. He's restricted though.
They're paying Evander Kane $7 million. They're paying Logan Couture $8 million. His contract kicks in next year. They're paying Vlasic $7 million. They're like, how can you afford? It's like Toronto. That's probably why Marner's gone.
I don't think Marner's going to be gone, but speaking of Pavelski, let's talk potential signings here. And 3 quick ones I wrote down. Joel Pavelski sounds like he's talking with Dallas. So
I think he's going to go to Dallas.
I could see that one happening. Jake Gardner's talking with Chicago. And Detroit, I heard, is some rumblings of Detroit too. So
and Vancouver's
I've heard Vancouver too, but I don't think Vancouver can go down that road. And I've also wonder if Jake Gardner wants to play in a Canadian city. I don't know. I think he wants to stay in Toronto, but can't.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to go to the team that he could play the most minutes on, right? A team that needs a top 4 defenseman, a team that needs a quarterback on their power play. He's going to go there.
Okay.
I could see him going to Detroit too.
All right, enough of this. Are you ready to talk Canucks here? Because I got a couple bones to pick here.
All right, go ahead.
They are talking currently with Tyler Myers. And the number I am hearing...
He's not getting $8 million.
No, not 8.
All right, what is it then?
The number I am hearing is $7 million for 7 years.
Well, Drager went on and said he's getting under 7 today, so...
Well, I would freaking hope so, because he's a 4th defenseman. Since when in the hell did Tyler Myers become this elite defenseman?
If Tyler Myers gets $1 million less than Brett Burns, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself.
Well, your team's the one that's going to sign him for that. And if
we're not.
Listen to an interview,
the reason why we're not going to sign Tyler Myers is because of the Luongo cap penalty. That Luongo just saved the Canucks from a horrible contract.
So what you're saying is your GM is actually really stupid and wants to do this deal. But the previous GM was even dumber, and because he was dumber, the new dumb GM can't even screw up and sign Myers for 7 years.
I don't think he's dumb. I think Jim Benning's done a great job. And
okay,
I think he's done a great job.
Let's rewind to Saturday afternoon, and now let me set the stage for you, and I need you to explain this to me. Okay, Toronto has to clear cap space, correct? So they send Marleau and his contract, a 1st in 2020 and a 7th in 2020, which is a lot. A 1st rounder is a lot, to Carolina for a 6th rounder. And the only reason they did that is because they have to clear cap or they'll have no chance at signing Marner. So that's the price they pay. Right?
Yeah.
Then Nashville sends Santini, Davies, a 2nd in 2019 and a 2nd in 2020 to Nashville for PK Subban and his $9 million contract. So Nashville gets really nothing.
Uh-huh.
But they eliminate the $9 million because they need to flush that from their system. And the fact is that I personally, and a lot of people, don't think Subban is that great. Okay. But now it's time to talk Canucks. So they get JT Miller, which played most of the season last year on the 4th line. Now, granted, hear me out. Granted, Tampa Bay was deep, and he would not be a fourth liner on most teams. I'll give you that. But he's at 1 year of 54 points, which was 2 years ago. Since then, it has went down, not by a lot, but a little bit. But he's been under the 50-point mark. And they give up the signing rights to this goalie Mazanek or whatever, so who cares on that? A third in 2019, which a third rounder is third rounder. Not the end of the world, but a third rounder. And then a conditional first that is lottery protected next year, but not lottery protected the following year. So
I have no problem. So Vancouver is not missing the playoffs next 2 years.
So okay, but I'm going to ask you a question here. You think they're going to make the playoffs the next 2 years? Okay, but I'm going to ask you a question. Tampa Bay had to get rid of JT Miller for cap space. They were in the same boat as all those other teams, and those other teams gave up their players for freaking peanuts. Why in the hell did Vancouver, who's supposedly rebuilding, why would they give up a first rounder, which is the most coveted thing you can get when you're rebuilding? Why in the hell would they give it up for a guy that hasn't even put up 50 points? JT Miller.
JT Miller. Has JT Miller played with anybody like Elias Pettersson or Brock Besser ever in his career? No, he hasn't.
I guarantee
he hasn't. He hasn't.
So you're okay. You're okay making first rounders go bye-bye on gut feelings?
No, I think I think it's a good trade for Vancouver because
why the hell? So let me ask you this. Why do they have to give up so much? Why do they have to give up so much?
I don't know.
Because they suck.
You got to give up something to get something, correct?
That they gave up the farm when they could have given up just the chicken.
Oh my God! Listen.
It's the truth, Blake.
I am so sick and tired of the highlight of the Vancouver Canucks being the draft. You got to get good at some point, man.
Okay. Do you want to hear?
Listen, he's going to be a top 6 forward.
Do you want to hear a story?
He's going to get 65 plus points, maybe 7.
Do you know what else I heard today? That Jim Benning has traded away more draft picks than he's drafted since he got to Vancouver.
Who?
Jim Benning has traded away more picks than they've actually picked.
Okay, yeah, and Vancouver's got one of the best prospect pools in the NHL. So what are you talking about?
But it's done them no good because they're still not a playoff team.
Elias Pettersson, Quinn Hughes, and this Russian now.
Great players.
3 home runs in the last 3 years.
Wait a second.
3 home runs.
You cannot call the guy they drafted 5-6 days ago a home run, Blake. Give me a break.
He should have been a top 5 pick.
I don't care.
They got him at 10.
Doesn't matter. He hasn't played a game yet. You can't call him a home run. Holy crap. That's a little bit putting the cart before the horse.
That's what all the analysts are saying. This is a home run.
It's a good pick. But none of these picks mean dinky-doo until they start playing in the National Hockey League. Because we don't know the future.
Okay. Here. This is why I have a problem with trading a 2020 or 2021 pick. You take a kid.
2019 or 2020. Yeah, next year's draft for the following year. Sorry.
2020 or 2021.
Yep,
okay?
Yep.
Okay. So we're in 2019, correct? Okay.
So here's what could happen, Blake. Let me fill you in. Okay. So if Vancouver makes the playoffs next year, then they
get the pick.
They get the pick
next year.
Now, if they miss the playoffs, now just hear me out. Let's say Vancouver misses the playoffs next year, right?
Okay.
Then the pick they don't lose their pick, they lose it the next year. But the next year, it's not lottery protected. What if they're the worst team in the league the next year and they get the number 1 pick?
If Vancouver is the worst team in the league in 2 years, there's major problems.
Okay, well, so let me tell you one thing. Let me refresh your memory. Ottawa.
It's not going to happen, though.
Wait a second, though. Let me refresh your memory.
Don't you dare do that.
Ottawa was the worst team in the league 2 years ago.
Don't
They were
do
the
that.
worst team.
Don't do that.
Okay, no, Ottawa 2 years ago was 1 game away from the Stanley Cup Finals. 1 game away, and now they're the laughing stock worst team in the league.
Dude,
it can happen.
What do you mean? They just could be. Yeah, you want to know why that happened? Is because they traded Erik Karlsson, Mark Stone, Matt Duchene, Ryan Dzingel. Of course you're going to be that last place team. Vancouver is not going to be bad with Horvat, Pettersson, Quid Hughes, Thatcher Demko, JT Miller, Jake Virtanen, all them guys leading the way up front? Are you kidding me? I'm so sick of this narrative that the draft is so important.
It is.
All these Canucks fans are, we can't get good quite yet. We got to wait a couple more years. No, why can't we be good in the next year?
Because what's going to happen is you're going to keep doing what you've done, and that's mediocrity. You haven't been in the playoffs for 5 years. You needed to tank and get good. Now you're just freaking muddling in the middle, and you're going to be muddling in the middle because your owner is pissy and wants to sell tickets more than he wants to create winners, and you're going to muddle in the middle like Calgary did for 10 freaking years.
I disagree with that because guys like Pettersson and Besser and Horvat ain't going to allow the team to sit in the middle.
Besser can say next year, have a nice day, fuck off.
No, he can't.
He can too.
They own his rights for 5 years.
Besser?
Yes. He's an RFA. We have his rights for 5 more years. He's only been in the league for 3 years.
He's got to sign a
You own a player's rights for 7 years after you draft him.
What if they can't come to an agreement?
They are going to come to agreement. He's going to get paid $8 million.
What if he wants 9?
Okay, then you give him 9.
What if he wants 10?
It's not a big deal, man.
It is.
He's not going to ask for 10. Listen. Brock Besser is coming off 2 injury-plagued seasons. He's not going to get the money that he originally thought he was going to get because he's only played 60 games the last 2 years. You see where I'm coming from?
I think
it's not going to happen. We're not going to have trouble signing Brock Besser.
Toronto's going to have troubles with Marner. I think Vancouver's going to have troubles with Besser. I think Calgary's going to have troubles with Tkachuk. I think a lot of teams. You know who else I think is really going to have troubles? We'll talk about a different team. Blake's your blood pressure goes down here.
Well,
okay?
the thing is here.
You know who else I think is really going to have troubles? I think Carolina's going to have troubles with Aho because with that new ownership in Carolina, they are really set on weird things and they will not budge from thought processes and plans. And when that owner sets a benchmark, he doesn't go off of it too much.
They were talking about on Hockey Central that Aho, if there's anybody to get offer sheeted, that he would probably be the guy because of the budget that Carolina has set out. But
yeah, and that's kind of what happened back in the day when Shea Weber got offer sheeted. That was kind of the plan. It was like, oh, hey, Philadelphia's going to prey on Nashville coming off the lock. Oh, they're just going to small market team, they're going to prey off them, but we'll see what happens there. Let's roll into some other news so that your blood pressure can go down. Salary cap a little lower. Minimum comes in at 60.2, maximum at 81.5. It sounds like the next 2 years the cap is going to be lower than what they expected based on escrow things, and then it'll probably rise in year 3. Your thoughts on the cap and how? I think it's actually kind of funny because I think it's going to make this summer really entertaining.
Well, is it the revenue share? Is that why it's not up?
Yeah, that and the players opted to take less of a cap to lighten their escrow load.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not too familiar with the escrow quite yet. I'm still kind of.
It is.
I'm still learning that aspect of the CBA, but because what is the escrow right now?
I don't, Blake. I don't, and I'm not going to pretend like I do because I don't. It's a complicated thing. I know though the players were getting in, a healthy chunk taken out of their checks, and anytime people are getting money out of their checks, even though it's something they agreed upon, it never makes anybody happy. So They're trying to, phase down so it lightens that load.
So when does it get to the point where all these owners go to or GMs go to the meetings and say, like, okay, so why are we losing money if there's revenue sharing? Because certain teams aren't pulling weight, right? Like, when does that become a problem with the league?
Blake, that's a question that I've wondered forever. I've wondered forever why the owners of the Boston Bruins aren't
like. Why do they love? Do they like losing money? They just love losing money. Then
I don't know. I've wondered that for years, and no one ever has been able to give me an answer on that. I don't know. Yeah. It's been a topic I've talked about numerous times, and I've never got an answer.
Yeah.
Let's roll on to our last topic here in our main section, and then we'll cruise on into 3 questions and a listener question. But the last thing I want to talk about is something that's a rule change, and it's just kind of went haywire on the internet now, and it's kind of turned into a viral thing. And silliness at USA Hockey, and don't get me going on USA Hockey because my blood pressure will rise. But now they have a rule. I'm going to read the rule.
For banging on the boards?
I'm going to read the rule. An unsportsmanlike conduct bench minor penalty will be assessed to any team whose players or team officials commit the following actions while on the player's bench: banging the boards with sticks or other objects, including skates, arms at any time, including after a body check, regardless as to whether a penalty is called on the body check. I have been a fan of hockey since I was 4 years old. I am 46 years old right now, so for 42 years, I have been following hockey on a daily basis. Yes, at age 4 and 5, I didn't know what I was talking about, but I still was a fan. This is the dumbest rule I've ever seen. This solidifies where both Canada and the U.S. have become and how our countries view things now. It is such a coddle. I call it the pussification of America. I don't know. I don't know. It drives me crazy.
Well, the thing, it's supposed to have fun.
Oh, I don't even think it's fun, but my God, I've never heard a player go, I just don't know if I can go out next shift. They were banging on the boards when they scored, and it hurt my feelings, and I just don't know if I can play.
I had my head down coming across in center ice, and I got hit, and my teammates cheered. Now I'm going to get a penalty. Really?
I don't know, Blake.
All right, next topic. I'm over this.
All right, man, let's get out of here. Let's get to 3 questions. You're a hockey fan and you love your team and its players. At CoolHockey.com, they get that. That's why they offer high-quality NHL jerseys at competitive prices. They've been in business since 1999, customizing jerseys to NHL specs and to give you the quality work you will not find anywhere else. Cool Hockey is the #1 place to get NHL jerseys with shipping available to any country in the world. Head to CoolHockey.com now and use promo code INSIDE20 for 20% off your next jersey purchase. It's time for 3 questions. All right, we're back with another edition of 3 questions. And in this week's show, Blake will be asking me the questions. And on our show in July, I will fire 3 questions back at Blake. So I am ready, Blake. I don't know what you're going to come at me with this week, but go ahead. Question number 1.
So with the future Hall of Famer, Bobby Lou, set to retire.
Oh, my gosh. I knew this was coming.
What's your favorite moment from him, if you have one?
I'm going to bring up something that you're going to kind of shake your head at, but I'm probably right on this one. 20 years ago, or 10 years from now, not 20 years ago, I didn't say that right. 10 years from now, when we say the name Roberto Luongo, what most of us hockey fans will say is, he was the goalie that had some great tweets. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, I mean, he's been a He's been a personality on Twitter, and
he was the first player to really be that.
He doesn't even have a blue check mark. That's what I love about him.
I don't know what even that means, Blake, but
that's like
I know.
Get out of here.
I know. But that's honestly what I'll remember. And I'm not saying that that's not an insult to him. That's just what he made the biggest presence in the hockey world to me as. Was he a good goaltender? Yeah, he was a good goaltender, but he never won a cup.
It doesn't matter though.
Well, no, I know, but that's what we usually.
If you're remembered for not winning a Stanley Cup, it's backstopping Canada to the gold medal game, and him going to the Cup final the next year. Okay. Those 2 years were awesome for Canada and Canucks fans, and unfortunately, he came up one win short of getting the Cup. But I mean, that's hard. That's how she goes. It's a lot of good players that haven't won a Cup, right?
That's
like
right.
Joe McGinley.
There is. No, I'm not arguing that. There's lots. Question number 2.
What rule change made in the offseason will have the biggest impact next season?
Oh, man. I knew you were going to ask this. Well, they haven't named the rule changes yet because the Board of Governors have to vote, right? Or
no, they've done it already, yeah.
Oh, I did read that. Well, gosh, it's probably going to be the rinse or replay because that's all we're freaking heard about the last 3 months.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with adding like puck out of play to be reviewed, and to see if it was your teammate that high sticked you. Those are the little things that should be reviewed, and I'm glad that the NHL finally made that possible. But another interesting rule change that they made.
The puck out of play out completely, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yes and no. But another rule change that I really like is, you know how offside, if you got it wrong, it was a 2-minute penalty. They're doing that for goal interference now too. It's no longer loss of a timeout. It's a 2-minute penalty. So I think you'll see a lot less goaltender interference challenges. I think that was the best way to prevent more goaltender interference challenges because, I mean, if you challenge, like last year, you challenge the goaltender interference, you lose your timeout, okay. I mean...
Blake, I'll tell you a little bit about this rules. I was all big into the rules, and when the first press release came out about the potential rule changes, I was all over it. And we actually had a long discussion on our podcast, I believe 2 episodes ago. And I was really diving into what my thoughts are, and as it progressed, and in the last few weeks, I've kind of developed this attitude of, I don't know that any of these are going to matter because I think replay is still going to be a cluster. I think it's a good rule to pull the player has to go off without a helmet and things like that for safety reasons. But like and then when it came to them voting last week at the Board of Governors meetings, like I saw the press release and I kind of skimmed it, but I was like, I don't really care anymore. Do you just get to that point, like with the rules are the rules? It's like I feel like we're always in hockey trying to like find the perfect. We're always changing and trying to find the perfect. Well, it isn't gonna be perfect. So I don't know. Maybe and that's my fault. I probably should have read them closer this year, but I just kind of was just like enough.
Did you see that they were possibly thinking about taking offside out of the NHL?
They didn't say they were. They didn't say they were thinking about it. They said that the topic was brought up.
Could you imagine if they actually did that?
Why? What would be different?
There'd just be guys cherry picking all over the place.
No, they wouldn't, because defense still wins.
There would be guys that pick the puck up, and one guy flies his own.
What would it matter? Take it out.
Like a Hail Mary to a wide receiver.
I mean, I haven't put a lot of thought into it, But my initial response is, I don't care. Take it out. You want goals? Take it out. You also want coaches to have heart attacks on the benches. Take it out.
All right. Relax. All right. Question number 3. Who is your sleeper team to make the most noise in free agency this summer?
Oh, this is the easiest question in the world. Florida.
A sleeper team?
Well, what do you?
They're expected to spend.
Okay, I can tell you the teams that can and the teams that can't. It's the ones that have cap space and the teams that don't.
No, okay. Let me say this. What is a team? Who is the team that you don't expect that is going to make the most noise? I'll rephrase that for you.
The Islanders.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Just because Lou Lamoriello's kind of always got something up his sleeve. He's by far the best general manager of keeping things tight-lipped. So nobody ever expects him to do anything, and all of a sudden it's like, holy, did he just do that?
I'm gonna say Chicago Blackhawks. I think they're gonna create some space. I think they're gonna try to unload Brent Seabrook this summer, and we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe Anaheim, is that a bad one to say?
Where's Corey Perry going to sign this year?
I wouldn't mind if he signed in Calgary. I hate that guy.
1 year, $2 million contract?
Yeah, only Calgary can afford $2 million. We need him at about $150,000.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, let's go on to listener question, and this one comes from Tyler Shrivner from Regina, Saskatchewan, and interesting question.
All right, go ahead.
Who will have the biggest impact next year? Jack Hughes or Capo Caco?
Oh, Jack Hughes. Oh, next year?
Next year.
I'm going to go with Capo Caco.
Me
because
too, because I think he's going to be dynamic.
He's more NHL ready.
Yes, I agree.
He's more bigger, he's more faster, he's stronger.
He's more bigger. I love your grammar, Blake.
But more bigger since you know what I'm talking about. I'm not taking the English major. Come on. Anyways, but like I said, he's more ready for the NHL. Jack Hughes is going to be. I think Jack Hughes is going to have a better career overall in the long haul, just because I think he's more talented than Capo Caco. But for impact next year, I'm going to go with Capo Caco.
I think Capo Caco will be the guy next year, and I think he'll be the guy for the future, too. I like this guy. I think he's going to be a top-notch NHL star, and the Rangers are lucky to have him. All right. You ready to get out of here?
Yeah.
Make sure you go on Twitter, follow us at Debate Hockey. Also, check out our Facebook page, The Debate Hockey Podcast, and do us a big favor and hop onto iTunes. Hopefully, you're listening to us either on iTunes, SoundCloud, one of the major podcasting. Spotify is another one that we're on. Rate and review us. Give us a 5-star. We'd really appreciate it. Helps us out and helps us bring you bigger and better shows. Speaking of shows, July we'll be doing a UFA RFA show. We'll shoot for the second week of July to record that. And then we'll take a little break, and in the latter part of August, we will do a show on kind of just an off-season review and kind of a season preview, because come into August, we'll be talking about training camps getting going in September, and in September, we will start Season 3 of the Debate Hockey Podcast, and we are excited to be back for another year of good arguments, right, Blake?
That's right.
It's always fun proving Blake wrong. I enjoy doing it every day.
I'm never wrong.
Never wrong. Blake's never wrong, except for everybody on Twitter rips him all the time. Although I did like your comments to my favorite agent in the National Hockey League this week, Alan Walsh.
What did he? Oh yeah, okay. 50 other people liked my comments too.
Yeah, nobody likes Alan Walsh.
Oh my goodness, I was like talking to myself.
I don't know how that guy gets.
Is this guy dumb?
I don't know how that guy gets any clients, but anyways, on with the show. We appreciate you listening to the Debate Hockey Podcast. Go on Twitter, follow us at debatehockey.com. Ask Blake and I questions. We love fan interaction, and we will see you in a couple weeks for a UFA RFA special show in July. Thanks for listening.
NHL news, opinions, and controversy.
Tattooed by Buffalo.
Thanks for listening to the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check out InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com for all your hockey news. Follow us on all forms of social media, and make sure you download the Debate on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. A special thanks goes out to our sponsor, CoolHockey.com. Make sure you check out their website, use promo code INSIDE20, and save 20% off your next jersey purchase. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy this week's hockey action.
What a save! A fantastic save by Anderson. Couturier, the sweet setup. Gibson robs Tierney. Save of the game.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.